The 2015 Hyundai Genesis is the best car for you if you don't mind that we find it sort of the McMansion of midsize premium cars. This is the all-new second generation of the car that told the world South Korea intended to hit the likes of Lexus and Acura where they live. If that's a neighborhood of generous living spaces, pampering creature comforts, and homogeneous styling, then Hyundai has arrived. If, on the other hand, the brief is old-school engineering and old-world prestige, Genesis has a ways to go. I'm Chuck Giametta. Join me for a car preview video review of the 2015 Hyundai Genesis. The original Genesis debuted for model year 2009 as the first Hyundai that was not really an economy car. It used the blueprint set out by the world's leading premium automobiles, a rear-wheel drive chassis, available 6- and 8-cylinder engines, and a luxurious interior. This redesign follows that pattern but makes all-wheel drive available for the first time and brings a 3-inch longer wheelbase. That's the distance between the front and rear axles. 3 inches is a big deal in automotive terms, and this one's now roughly as long as certain versions of full-size flagships like the Audi A8, BMW 7 Series, and Lexus LS. But while the body is an inch wider, it remains about as long overall as that of mid-size luxury cars like the Audi A6, BMW 5 Series, Lexus GS, and Mercedes E-Class. And with a base price range of $39,000 to $52,000, those are the very blue bloods Hyundai wants to muscle in on. The longer wheelbase complements the new body, giving it shorter front and rear sheet metal overhangs for a more aggressive stance. The automaker calls the look Fluidic Sculpture 2.0. It's less flamboyant than the first version of this corporate design theme and sets the example for most future Hyundais. The fastback roofline is a little sporty, the LED tail lamps tasteful. Status-conscious owners of the first-generation Genesis replaced the corporate flying H with the badge used on the car in South Korea. For 2015, the factory pastes that winged logo on the nose, steering wheel, and wheels of US versions. It might also look at home on the chest of a celluloid superhero. And if this big single-frame grille and a body free of extraneous creases reminds you of Audi, that may be no accident. Hyundai's chief designer came from Audi. Genesis slots above the brand's smaller front-wheel drive Azera and below its seldom-seen top-of-the-line $60,000-plus Equus sedan. The V8 model, called the 5.0, shares its engine with the Equus, but most buyers will choose a V6 version called the 3.8. It's the one available with the company's new H-Track all-wheel drive system. Every direct rival offers all-wheel drive, and it's another sign of Hyundai's commitment to this upscale segment. Versions of both these engines were used in the previous generation Genesis, and they've actually lost a little horsepower and torque, but they're smoother running and more fuel efficient, and they work in better harmony with the outstanding 8-speed automatic transmission. The acceleration is quite good. Lively off the line even with the V6. There are paddle shifters, and both engines give you a feeling of confidence when you're trying to pass or merge with fast-moving traffic. The real revelation is a new steering system, free of the erratic, unnatural feel that afflicts virtually every other vehicle from Hyundai and its corporate cousin Kia. Other dynamic properties are less inspiring. Handling is balanced but far from athletic, and this 2-ton sedan can feel bulky in quick changes of direction. That may please people who like a reminder they're driving a big car, but it won't impress those with experience at the wheel of an A6, E-Class, or 5 Series. The real telltale that Genesis isn't in the league of the top Europeans or even the Cadillac CTS is what we call ride composure. The redesign brought a stiffer structure, and the V8 is available with an air suspension, but imperfect pavement can trigger jiggles and shudders you just don't get with old-world engineering. Here's where Hyundai's priorities seem to lie. This is a true luxury car environment, expansive, comfortable, and quiet. Materials quality beats anything available elsewhere at these prices. Leather upholstery and heated power front seats with power lumbar are standard. So is real wood trim. Optional on 3.8s and standard on the 5.0 are tasteful matte finish panels and genuine aluminum surfaces. Same goes for cooled front seats, sumptuous perforated hides, and this panoramic moonroof. Designers did a nice job creating a driver-oriented cockpit feel without isolating the front passenger from the infotainment or climate controls. A lot of buttons and dials are what you get when a car maker doesn't surrender to a touchscreen command center. Thankfully, they're clearly marked and have a smooth, rich feel, although climate and audio knobs of different sizes would alleviate some confusion. Navigation is standard, either an 8-inch screen or this high-definition 9.2-inch display. With either, you get Hyundai's second-generation BlueLink infotainment interface with all sorts of mobile apps and cloud-based assistants, including Apple's Siri. The system can calculate traffic density and advise you when to leave to be on time for an appointment. It'll send you a smartphone reminder to remotely start your car and turn on the heater or air conditioner. You can use Google's destination search to send an itinerary to the car. There's even a Google Glass app, so confident early adopters can swipe or tap or talk instructions to the car, and it'll guide you to it if you've forgotten where you parked. That long wheelbase contributes to generous rear legroom. A heated back seat is optional, but only on the all-wheel drive model. Side and rear sunshades are standard on the 5.0 and optional on the 3.8. And while every Genesis gets a ski pass-through, the rear seat backs don't fold down. There is a little cargo-related novelty, however. If you have the key fob in your purse or pocket and you stand behind the car for more than 3 seconds, the trunk lid automatically opens. It's a step beyond the rivals that require you to wiggle a foot beneath the bumper to open the trunk or cargo hatch. The trunk is nicely finished and at 15.3 cubic feet, slightly above average in volume. As for features, there's no infrared night vision or pedestrian detection, but Hyundai hardly shortchanges you. The optional head-up display is loaded with information, including the speed limit on the road you're traveling and warnings of vehicles about to overtake you at high speeds. Adaptive cruise control is standard on the 5.0 and optional on the 3.8, and lets the car crawl along in bumper-to-bumper traffic or automatically stops it to avoid a rear collision. Sensors warn you if you're drifting from your lane, and software steers you back if you don't correct. You can even adjust how much steering force it applies. While base prices undercut those of rivals, options are bundled in some fairly expensive packages. This fully equipped rear-drive 3.8 model has $11,000 worth of extras. That brings its bottom line to almost $50,000. All-wheel drive would add another $2,500. V8 buyers get most every amenity V6 shoppers pay extra for. The sole option for the 5-liter model is the $3,250 Ultimate package that includes the air suspension, the 9-inch navigation, and a 17-speaker Lexicon audio system. At $55,700 loaded, a V8 ends not far from the starting point of a 5 Series or E-Class of comparable power, but not of comparable size or luxury features. Hyundai's still a value brand, and it made a very deliberate decision to sell all its cars out of the same showroom, as opposed to premium offshoots like Toyota's Lexus, Honda's Acura, or Nissan's Infiniti. That may give $15,000 Accent drivers something to aspire to. How it makes $50,000 Genesis owners feel, we can't say. Still, value is relative, and there's a good amount of it here. So buying a Genesis is a little like owning the biggest house in a modest neighborhood. For more on this and other cars, trucks, and SUVs, go to CarPreview.com or subscribe to our Car Preview YouTube channel.